thank you, thank you. It's been a long day, but a good day, I think. So, all right, go ahead and call the work session to order. We don't necessarily need to establish a quorum, as we're not gonna, make any votes or make any motions. This is to just discuss, the business before us. Presentations, we don't have any presentations, do we? Floyd, Julie?
No.
Okay. First item of new business is our GFL update. Elizabeth and Floyd and Brad had a meeting, so I will let them bring that up, bring us up to speed on that.
Yeah, it's fun.
You want me to take it, or do you
Sure.
want to take it?
Yeah.
However.
Okay. So we did have a meeting with 3 representatives from GFL today, including also on our side of the table, me, Brad, and Elizabeth. And we were here. The long story short is that the contract doesn't match what the amendment shows.
Mm-hmm.
There's offsetting clauses, et cetera. They're going to go back and take a look at the contract and consult with their legal counsel to find out what they can do or what should be done next. And then their counsel's going to talk with Brad and sort of update us through that way.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking to them about what do we get as a benefit for the cost. And essentially the benefit was what we're already getting.
Yeah.
Weekly pickups, recycling, bulk pickups, no
They'll
changes
come
in
to
any
the
of that.
events.
Yes, coming to more events and having more like community sponsored events. So there was that. We asked about what would prevent sort of the failure, especially that we saw last year, and they spoke about how operationally they have changed and how they have totally new leadership, and that they are setting a tone essentially to do better from here forward. So right now, at this point in time, there is no decision. They're going back to the council. They're going to come back with Brad. And that's really the thumbnail version of it. Do you have anything you want to add to it?
I mean, it was a very quick meeting.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Once Brad pointed out the
items in the contract.
contract. Yeah.
Okay. Did they give a timeline or an update for when he thought that they would come back?
Not really, just that I think they're a little bit hesitant on giving that because they're having now to go to that third party too.
Yeah, sure. So what are our plans? What do y'all think will happen or what we need to do?
I think we wait from Brad and their council and
Okay.
then see from there.
Yeah.
Just put it on the next agenda, either work session or.
We did say several times though that, we did 90 days before the contract was up. Council did discuss it and, because of the issues that GFL was having and, it kind of went back and forth and some people were for it, but ultimately council decided to stick with GFL. So, for them to keep that in mind. And then Floyd also pointed out that we were in the middle of our budget, and what's been budgeted is that number that we,
Started with.
yeah,
That's right.
so, for them to take that into account, and so, hopefully.
Well, thank y'all for doing that, and certainly anything that we can do to help, we'll just pass along, take it to the next one.
Okay.
All right. Next item is under library functions. We have worked, and we've talked about the library several times, and recently, in the last couple of months, we hired a librarian to stand the library back up. At the start of the year, we adjusted some personnel and wanted to bring the focus back to the library. We've had a couple of opportunities to host events at the library, but it wasn't quite set up in a form that would function for a group meeting. We had some discussion in council, but I wanted to bring it back in a work session where we could really go into it. And the question really is just, it's pretty simple. Do we want the library to remain a place where you go in and check out books, or do we want it to be a place where meetings can happen, events can happen, and you can still check out a book, but also do other things that bring in more people? I just put that before the council and then the folks in the public who have opinions and ideas, and just see where we are, because my goal would be to get as many people into that building as possible, and through whatever means a library can fulfill to do that. And that's just where I am.
What's the purpose of getting people in there? Because you can only get probably 10 in there.
Right.
In the current configuration, yes.
Fine, knock down half the books and you can put 12.
No, sir. If we remove the bookcases and rearrange the books, we can fit in closer to 24 people in the library.
What are you going to do with 24 people?
You could have any kind of board of directors meeting, you could have any kind of nonprofit meeting, you could have any kind of crocheting class. I mean, you could have any number of things that would bring people into the library and into downtown.
But could we also host these things here? Because, we're talking.
Sure, oh, yeah.
Because I have not heard of a need of us making this area for also people to meet as well.
Mm-hmm.
If the need's there, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But if the need's not there, I feel like it should stay at library.
Julie, what's our general occupancy for the community center?
Right here,
For rentals and classes, yes, ma'am?
110.
No, I mean, what's the, not the person occupancy, I'm sorry. How often do we have this place rented out? Or how often do we turn away events because this place is already rented out?
A lot lately.
Okay.
A lot lately.
And the reason, the thing that brought it to me,
For how many people, for what kind of event?
Well, Angie handles Monday through Friday, I handle the weekends.
Okay, so weekends, that's a slam.
Well, now
It's
it's
done.
kind of, people, like Floyd can attest to this, the last few weeks, people want Friday functions. They want Monday and Tuesday functions. The whole thing is that if we had a space for smaller groups, like a crochet class or a book club or some type of smaller meeting, Angie could rent this space out,
mhm,
and that would bring revenue in, as opposed to just having, it would give us another space.
another option. And we've got this place rented out 4.5 days during the week, probably 2 days every weekend,
Right.
and it's rented probably 3 weekends out of the month. So
Well, you got space here for 2-hour meet. You can have like 8 2-hour meetings a week. You can have 3-hour meetings and a couple of 8-hour meetings
mhm,
on Fridays or Mondays, and then also in the mornings.
unless it's already rented out.
Yeah,
Those
we have legacy people that
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
take up a lot of space, and
We should probably discuss,
Mhm.
we should probably also discuss raising prices on
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly an option. I mean, none of these things that you guys are pointing out are anything that I'm objecting to.
yeah.
I'm just saying that we had Habitat for Humanity reached out and wanted to have a strategic board retreat here in Sharpsburg on, I think, April 19th or something.
Right.
It was a
Which is
day
a
that was
Wednesday.
booked here. They had 16, 17 people. If the library had been an option, they could have held it there. And that would have put one of Coweta's largest and oldest nonprofits in Sharpsburg with their board of directors, which is all of their decision makers.
we've had Quilts of Valor come in and request a
Mhm.
small space at the library,
Mhm.
because they do utilize Coweta Library. But in the instance where it's a Sharpsburg veteran, we couldn't give it to them, but we couldn't give it to them all but one time. And that would be,
Mhm.
she says, I'm coming to you because
Yes, this is Sharpsburg
this
veteran.
is Sharpsburg, it's
Yeah, I mean, if
Sharpsburg
the need's
veterans.
there,
It's a
I have no
ceremony
problem
that
with it.
takes maybe a half hour and photo ops with friends and family, and then they're gone. Really no mess, no food, no nothing, and they're in and out.
Mhm, mhm. And just to be clear, I don't want to take away the book part of the library. That will remain there. We don't want to throw away any books. I just simply want to rearrange the space so that we can hold other functions in that building. And once we fill that building up, then we can build a bigger library.
Well, you've already taken a bunch of books out. You got one of the bookcases already empty. You've already taken it upon yourself to do it.
No, I have had them sort through it and just sort through it so that we can rearrange it.
What about the legacy people here in this area? What's the story on that?
So now,
Why haven't we had increases with,
Okay, so hold on, we're talking about library functions. If you want to talk about the legacy people, we can. That's
well,
not a
here's
problem.
the thing,
But we're,
it's hand in glove. Why do you need additional space at the library when you're giving away space here to 2 groups, and charging 3 other groups less than a quarter of what you, or less than a third of what you're gonna charge everybody else?
because those are the 5 groups that are drawing people to our town. The only 5 groups that are drawing people to our
And you
town.
draw them to the town, and they do what?
Come in here and spend money.
A lot of referrals come off.
A lot of
Ms.
referrals.
Rachel's dance class, and you
To
know.
do what?
Sharpsburg
To
Market.
rent
To rent,
this
yeah.
place?
To rent.
I had a couple today that rented all day
Mm-hmm.
in here. So you're talking, you know, $500-600 for,
Are you aware how much we don't rent the place for when we let the people have it for free? And how much we don't rent it for?
Mm-hmm.
We're losing about 20 grand a year, maybe 17.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, maybe.
It is.
But the people that we draw, the attention that we get, the energy that we build, I mean, it's not, as a government, we're not here to make money. We're here to provide services. And those are some of the services that, through our community partnerships, we provide.
We've got a lot of kids in town, though.
Mhm.
It would be nice to provide some library service for them.
Yeah.
You know, I agree, absolutely.
Yeah.
Remember, Tom, it was gonna be, and it was for the first year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Until
Because we had
COVID hit.
somebody there, and she had things on Saturdays, she had things
Yep.
twice a week, and we had kids
Mhm.
come in.
Mhm.
But I don't think there's ever been a real effort to get kids into it. And also, there's a program, and I'm interrupting.
No, that's
Well,
not, because,
But there's a program that's in
that's not
place
off
that
the
is
table
either in
either.
Hogansville or Logansville, one, down that way, Hogansville or,
Hogansville,
Mhm.
Hogansville or either
Luthersville.
Luthersville, one of the two, that there's a, connect with something central, either state or government, that
Mhm.
helps put stuff in there and helps you
Yep.
do it.
Yep, and we can do that if we show that we've got programs and activities and things going on up
But if
there.
it's got other kind of things going on, it
Right,
won't
if
be
it's
open
booked
to the
up, if it's
children.
booked up for meetings, then what, you know.
Won't be there for the kids. And it was closed for 2 years too, Blue, because
Mhm.
nobody was going in it, so that's
Well-
not really fair to say it's not being used.
It is being used,
Yeah,
and
it
now
is
that we
being
have
used.
hired
Mhm.
a librarian
We had Angie
for
there
15
last year, we got
hours.
Dina
That's why
there
you
this
need a
year.
librarian if you're not gonna have books.
Yeah.
Wait,
Well,
who has said we're removing books? Who said we're gonna take the books out of the library?
I'll shut up.
Nobody. And even the books that they have gone through and removed duplicates for, that happens at libraries all the time. People clean through and refresh the stock all the time.
I
One
just
of
thought it was interesting that we had gone ahead, after discussing it one time, we'd gone ahead and started reducing the books in the library, and you're gonna change the layout of the library to accommodate an idea that we haven't even talked about except for just in passing
Well,
once.
Tom, no, we've talked about it more than once. We've talked about holding
But we
events up
haven't
there
decided
on a
on whether or
regular
not we're gonna
basis.
do it. We have not decided whether or not.
Actually,
we're
back
gonna
in
do it.
2019, we had a separate work session about a space sharing agreement with nonprofits.
Have we
This
voted
is
on having,
this is a
whether or not we're gonna
continuation
do
of the
it?
same discussion.
That's right, but you have gone ahead and proceeded on doing it.
Yes, because I'm tired of sitting around talking about stuff and then having everything delayed, and let's do something. If you want to form a committee and talk it to death, then let's form a committee and talk it to death.
Well, let's
But
have
while
a
you're
committee,
talking, I'm gonna be doing.
Let's get a committee and talk it to death about whether or not we're gonna tear down the Beckham house, because we've been screwing around with that for 5 months.
Right, and we had it lined up in January to be demolished. We had it lined up in January. And you huffed and puffed like that then, and you're huffing and puffing like that now, and that's why nothing got done in January.
Oh, yeah, I stopped everything. I guess I am the town asshole, like you said.
Language, please.
Well, that's your words, and you can go back and
I
pull
just
them up
think
from
the
the
council
minutes.
members want to be involved, and when they see stuff going on without
Mhm.
a discussion, it's a little jarring, and
Well, I have to
Everybody just
agree
wants
with
to be-
Blue, because
we-
attendance is not great on the council.
Mm-hmm.
So how
And
could,
we brought
So-
all this stuff to council before.
but this wasn't brought up at the last meeting to talk about a council, that could have been brought up at the last meeting, or the
It was-
meeting before. So I don't really understand what you're saying, it
but
couldn't
what
have been
Blue
brought
is
up before
saying,
council.
if people show up to work, then maybe we could get things done
Okay, and
more
also,
expeditiously.
also Julie, Blue can also call people as well and say, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking about the library, so we're all on board and we know about it. I mean, there's a way for people to be involved without saying not everybody shows up. I mean, that's.
I mean, the library, we talked about hiring staff, we talked about activities that we wanted to do, we talked about goals that Dina had. And all of that is driven towards increasing participation in the library.
Right, and I'm fine for it, as long as I know what's going on.
Yes.
I did go to the library just to pop in because I had not been there since pre-COVID, and they were cleaning out duplicate books. They were going through and matching, and it cleaned out a lot of shelf space. And I also, there aren't as many, in a situation, I don't feel like there are I mean, there is a good sized children's section, but there's a huge wall of encyclopedias. And as nice as encyclopedias are for, you know, just nostalgia, if somebody had to go and do a book report or something, you know, there isn't, just in a typical library situation, now they have kind of, you know, a computer or Wi-Fi or a media situation to be able to bring in children that have, you know, may not have a computer at home or a printer or, you know, and then they charge 5 or 10 cents of, you know, just so they're not using stuff without, you know, for free. But it was, there's a good many duplicate books, and there were a lot of
Outdated.
there was a lot of like,
Periodicals.
no, it was just a lot of, it was like a lot of mail books. I don't mean that like, it was kind of all one type, you know, it was all,
So all the books have been donated by people in the town, and a lot of them are from people's loved ones that have passed
Yeah.
away, and so they're very sentimental.
yeah.
So you're dealing with sentimental things that people feel attachment to. They put in hard work, they put in time and money on the library, and they just want to, you know.
Don't you have
That's
internet
fun.
still over there?
Sure.
Yeah.
There's no computer over there. The
Well,
computer's
there
over there,
was.
just, it doesn't
There's,
work.
there's
There
2
was a problem.
There
laptops
was one,
that
maybe
can be
on there.
utilized.
By the public?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of the books in there,
I didn't see anything.
a lot of the books in there, what I call Christmas books. It's, I got every John Grisham book, and you did too. I mean, everybody got a John Grisham book at Christmas for 10 years.
That's exactly
And
what
that's,
was
so
in
now
there.
we've got
Yeah.
2 or
A lot
3
of
of
Dean
each.
Koontz, a lot of, you know, and sometimes there's a lot of great history books, but there was an entire wall, like almost like a ton of like half walls National Geographic, the bottom half was encyclopedias. You know, and so I wonder, to what extent can you ask the librarian how often, you know, is she gauging how much that is being used? And if it's not, you know, I don't know where people get other books. Where do libraries get books? Do they buy them, or they get them, are they all donated?
Most of them are.
They buy them. They have bulk deals.
I
with
mean, if
publishers.
we're talking
Yeah.
about Peachtree City, we're talking about something totally different.
Right.
You could fill up that library for $3 or $2 or $3 a book at Goodwill.
Yeah.
Because when Shelby, and I used to take them to the school to donate them when she got through with them, but you can
Yeah.
get really, really nice books. I mean, $25 and $30 books for $2 and $3 down there.
Once somebody gives a donation, though, that's a gift, correct? So as a giver, you should have no attachment to that. That's just my opinion. You give something as a gift, you let it go. It's not yours anymore.
It's not that easy.
But then why give it?
Well, nobody knows it's there to start with because they don't go in there, probably.
They what?
I said, nobody's been in it. We've been closed for 2 years
Yeah.
now.
No,
No,
we
Angie's been
No,
having.
Angie's
Well,
been-
I'll take that back. You're right. But
Yeah,
I mean,
Angie's been having things.
library-wise, there's been nothing going on in the library.
Right, yes, and once again, that's why, and I said it in our budget discussions, we want to focus on the library this year and engage and increase and so on and so forth.
And that's
Definitely.
why we hired Dina.
And that's why we hired Dina,
For 15 hours, so that
Mhm.
she can
so
dedicate
that she can start,
to that.
Well, I've given probably 200 books to the library in the last 2 years, and I have no attachment to them, although you can't replace them. I mean, it's not like, you can't find them anymore.
Yeah, and that's why we should not be throwing any books away. I mean, yes, maybe we should go back and maybe reorganize them, pick out the duplicates, do all that, but I don't want to throw any books away.
I know that we stopped taking hardcover donations, softcover donations for that reason, and that's when we had the book sale 2 years ago.
Well,
Yep.
Well, we had a real problem when we cleaned the library out. The paperbacks were.
Yeah,
They were molded and
Oh,
falling
really?
apart, they were
They
eating
had
up,
light
silverfish.
Yeah.
Mites,
Silverfish
everything
had
else
been
in
all
there,
in
yeah.
them.
So
But
I,
that's not an issue. The giving the books and having them, that's got nothing to do with this. As far as I'm concerned. I mean, I'm not questioning this because I've got, a bunch of books in that library,
Okay.
okay? So it's not, I don't, why'd you even bring that up?
Because
because-
Elizabeth
Well,
said
because
when
well-
somebody donates,
well, because, no, I'm just gonna say it like it is. Tom is, feels some sort of way, because he's put a lot of time and effort and money into getting the library up and going, and he's felt, very passionate about the library, and that's the way he feels, and I understand. So, and my thing is that when there's something going on that hasn't been discussed, or at least we know what's going on, and it just seems like it's happening, it's just nice to know what's going on. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree. And we all have conversations about things that we're passionate about and things that we do to push forward the town, but we just don't have time to go back and repeat the conversation, ask permission to do something 5 different times. I mean, it's just,
Well, I
you know.
think
But
the right thing to do is to bring it before council and have council's.
Yeah, no, and I agree, and I would say that we've done that.
It's hard sometimes when you're here daily operation wise to say, okay, let's do this, And from the office standpoint, it's just, making a decision and doing something.
Right, but there are other people that also need to have a say as well. If we're gonna concentrate the library into a meeting place, I think that it should be discussed.
Well, it's not, we're not replacing or removing anything. We're just adding an additional service to the library.
What, adding
I mean,
tables, chairs,
Yeah, things that we've
taking
all
out books?
talked about.
Okay, so
No, not taking out books, removing duplicates and
Okay.
rearranging what we've got.
Okay, and then
They're no
adding,
longer books once you decide they're duplicates.
what's that?
They're no longer books once you decide they're duplicates.
Huh?
Well, no, you say you're not taking books out, but you're taking out duplicates. I don't.
We're removing duplicates from the shelves.
And where do they go when they leave there?
So, we're boxing them up right now, but I would like to either put them in the little library. If we can get some help, I'd like to put the other little library up like we've talked about several times. We can put books in there. Then we can offer them to the elementary schools, or we can sell them, or we can offer them to the high school, or we can give them to Goodwill. Any number of those things would occur before we threw them away.
Yeah, but if they aren't there anymore, they're not there anymore.
Because there's already one there.
That's fine. If you're gonna take books out to make room, if you're gonna take books out to make room for an extra 5 people, 10 people in a meeting, for something that you really have no demand for,
Again, Julie,
Boyd, over the last.
It comes up on a daily basis.
You have people coming here wanting to rent the library or rent small space in here all the time?
Every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
If you were here this morning, it was nonstop phones, nonstop voicemails, nonstop. So,
We had a lot of nonstop today. About the library though, have we,
it
outside,
frees up an option.
But we don't, okay, so it might possibly be an option. We don't know if anybody's actually gonna take that option. We think it might be an option.
well, yes. I mean, you can never predict the future, but like I said, we had a phone call last week. They have calls on a regular basis about small space.
Can we
You
get
know.
some bookshelves on wheels, and if somebody wants to meet in there, roll
Well,
them
then my
inside?
also thing is, if we're now gonna be renting it out, this library, I don't know if I want to, I don't know if I wanna have an extra employee taking care of the library if it's not gonna be a library.
It's gonna remain a library.
If it's gonna be rented out,
Then
it's
how we
not
get-
going to.
Okay, so
You think they-
libraries
Alright, so
rent out
how
meeting
about
space
a
all the
homeowners
time.
Association
But that
meeting.
situation-
They always do it.
What about a homeowners association?
We have homeowners associations coming to
That's
us
because
for
they choose
meetings.
that. They can
Okay,
have it open
so I would
when
like
they
for
want.
you,
They
for
want.
2 weeks, to make a list of everybody. No, please
Mhm,
do.
Yeah, that's,
I have my book.
Mhm.
I have my book.
Okay,
We can-
I would love to see the demand.
we can start
I would love to.
tracking the demand.
I have a tracking system.
Yep, we'll just go back and pull the information from it. It's
Really
there.
don't
Okay.
appreciate that, too.
And I'd like to see how much space would be available if we
And I did have people come in.
weren't giving our space away.
Oh,
Saying that they're not doing stuff.
To who?
They don't make any.
Team Hungry, quilters,
No one shows up.
yeah, and charging the dance
And
people
then they come up here, no
a
one
third of
shows
what
up.
we charge anybody else.
We haven't.
What happens if we were to charge them full price?
Well, it's fine, great. Then you got a whole different, then you have a whole
No,
different
just to
dynamic.
find out, to check
See,
in or
You don't create something, a new space when you're not utilizing your old space.
But it,
Well, that's it, that's gonna be Angie's job to take this community center to the next level.
I got 5 jobs. Shit, I have time to. And I
The
didn't know I was
libraries
supposed to.
don't cease being libraries because they become meeting places as well. I mean, there's just.
I mean, all of the Coweta County libraries have meeting space attached
Yeah,
to it.
no, I get it. Like I said, if there's a huge demand and we can justify it, I'm on board. But I just don't wanna go around changing things if we don't have an immediate need. And
Well,
if we're not gonna focus on it being a library and pushing it to be a library,
And if we could also
I don't-
optimize what we've got here. And I don't think we've optimized what we have here, that's all. We haven't.
but if there's a need, I mean, you know.
I've got a question, who doesn't pay to use the space anyway? Why do they get to use it and not pay?
the only agreements that we have right now for free space is for Team Hungry, for Team Hungry
Oh, okay.
is the people that do the Saturday market. And I think that's the only,
Quilters.
quilters,
Quilters.
okay, quilters. And Jeff Flavin has come to us for the last 3 years to ask for
count-
it.
Yeah.
And
Council
council's
was
approved it.
Right.
And so,
Well, I didn't know I remember now the free, but I
Mhm,
forgot about the quilters.
but
And we haven't had an increase for the art or for the dance, which takes up most of a lot of the blocks of time.
Actually,
In
we
a
did have
while.
an increase. It used to be 10%, we're now collecting 30%.
Well, if you were to take those two groups
Well,
right there.
I know, Tom, I know what the figures would be, so I'm just saying, we have had an increase 2 years ago.
Yeah, but if you got space and you're getting a third what you could get if you didn't have a group in here, if you could rent it out to somebody else, it doesn't make sense not to jack them up, to take them up.
And that is something that staff is working on. We're revamping the rental form. And that was part of the reason that we wanted to bring Angie and put her in the community center so that she could take care of that, with the legacy increases being, one of the topics.
We have brought up before, raising rates all around. We have done that, and it didn't really get a lot of traction when I brought it up, and that was last year. Glad to put that back on the top of the list and look at that, but end of the day, I mean, that's what we can certainly look into.
Yeah, my only point again is that before you make adjustments to the library and start throwing that open to an unidentified group of people, which, that's fine if there's a demand, but to turn around and do that and not optimize this, it's backwards.
And I'd actually put out the point that if we have something here and we've got something there, then we're double dipping and everybody's happy. And that's the point that I'd like to get at. But I do think we can increase, we have, and we're working on increasing some of the
I
rental
put
fees and
together a
standardizing it.
spreadsheet of the neighboring towns that have venues for rent,
Mhm.
with their prices, with the amenities, what comes with, chairs, tables, cleaning, et cetera. So that is available if you'd like to look at that, because
Well, I'm just
we
looking
could
at,
outprice ourselves in the area.
Mhm.
if you don't have to sell to everybody, you just got to sell to people who are willing to pay your price.
But then you also have the towns that do have better venues than this, like for nicer weddings and nicer dinner parties and stuff like that. We don't have it in our budget to give what they have, so it's like, how do you balance it out?
Well, you don't have to give somebody something for free to lure them in.
No, but it is a community.
Or charge them a fraction of what you would charge the next guy that you're turning away.
And then you come against I've been here for 25 years, I've been here for 30 years, I have to raise my prices, my students are not gonna like it, and we've dealt
Price
with
of everything is increased
And now
substantially.
it is time, now, we started those conversations, but now it is perhaps time to push them a little bit further. And keep in mind, we're at a lot different place today than we were 3 years ago, or even 4 years ago, with the amount of activities, the amount of money, the amount of revenue, and where we were. The reason that this community center got refreshed when it did was because we needed it, because it was so busy, and it was showing its age.
Like the
Okay?
floors, yeah.
Right, yes, mm-hmm.
Which we need to probably address.
Yeah. So, okay, so going back to the library functions, do we want to just move this and bump it to the May agenda and continue the discussion with full council?
I mean, I just would like to see the projections on it, what,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the demand for it, the price, what we're gonna even charge
Right.
to rent it out. I just wanna see
Mhm.
the projections on it and, you know, what the setup's gonna be and,
Okay. All right. So in these work sessions, I do want to give chance, while we have a chance to talk through up here, do y'all have any thoughts,
Oh,
ideas, opinions?
They already did.
About the library?
Or anything, any additional thoughts?
I just have another thought. Why not give it a certain time frame and try it, using it with the library and go full speed trying to get people in it, like you suggested? And the children, summer's coming. And give it a space of time trying to use it as a library, and then if it doesn't work, do something else with it.
But, no, because so, okay, you know what, so background information, that thing.
Think about it, don't ask me now.
No, because because I'm glad you said that, because it always has to stay a library. It will
Yes.
never not be a library, because it is one of our required services.
exactly.
So, it will never not be a library. We're just looking at adding additional things to promote and do within the library.
So the larger libraries like Sonoy,
Mhm.
they're really nice, really pretty library,
I
really.
think you have a nice one.
They have space to rent out for meetings?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I get what you're saying, you know, it's not a very busy library, granted.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Are there internet services there for the kids in the area? So there is a couple computers and internet access?
Mm-hmm.
How often is that used, do we know?
Not often.
Not
So,
often.
When you
Very
walk in, you
frequent.
can't tell there's computers available. That's the reason why I was like, man, there's
Right.
not even a
Well,
computer
no,
in here.
and the reason for that is that they're kept securely away. You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't leave a laptop out on the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we
Well,
have.
how do you know unless you can't
No,
tell?
yeah, you're right. No,
You know?
and
You
that's
walk
something
in there and there's
fair enough.
nothing in there.
Mm-hmm.
So even if, and it's not on, I don't think it's not on any of the websites. It's not on the website that's available at the library, is it? I read through the library the other day and I don't think it had
Don't
on
know
there
that it
that there
is.
was Wi-Fi available or
Right, don't know that it
If not, it should be.
there's not even a window, you know, like a sticker in the one that says Wi-Fi available. So if there was, if you wanted to turn it into a spot where someone could sit down and,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, people post stuff at Starbucks
Yeah.
just to use the Wi-Fi.
And see, and those are the type of things that I would like to offer in addition to the books. We could do tutoring there. We could do, small group study sessions there. Those are the kind of things that I think would bring people to the library and be a great big positive thing. So we'll continue talking about this. We'll add it to the May agenda. Pending RFPs.
I'm putting this on the agenda
I'm
for
sorry.
May, right?
Yes.
You wanted a projection on library usage. Is there anything else that I need to be aware of, or where are we coming at it from?
Just put it on there for just discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, just a general
Yeah,
idea.
just-
It doesn't have to be like, I'm not not like just
Mm-hmm.
on average, how many people you turn away that is, has a party of,
What kind of, yeah,
10 to 14 people. I mean,
we've turned away parties from in this room whenever we've had usage. I don't recall, and maybe I'm just having a blank, but I don't recall getting a lot of calls at all about renting out the library.
A couple of meetings for nonprofit type things,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't directly through us in the office, it was through Angie,
Maybe that's why
or
I didn't
maybe
get down to
through
May.
Blue.
And then I've got
Okay.
and then of course the Hometown Novel Writers Association.
Right,
They are holding their
meetings.
author meetings there, their writers meetups there, and that
that's very appropriate, you
Mhm.
know, for them to meet there being authors.
Right.
We can set some books out around here, get the air of the library. Or if you want to make it look like our library, you can put some mildew and mold.
Tom.
I'm just being real.
Okay.
It was very warm when I went that day, and I don't think mildew and mold is just for paperbacks, like, that's also something else.
Mhm.
The temperature in there is very warm.
Can we make sure that,
First, I think I heard of that too, so.
Well, I know Angie just changed the air filter because I had to order her one.
Right, we did, yeah, so.
Yeah.
No, it was warm though, so and even when it's not being used, if it's, and I'm not saying you gotta
Oh,
keep it like a
no, I
refrigerator.
understand,
Right.
yeah, but
No,
there
no,
is a
we have-
unit
yeah, we
there,
have-
If it's
we
for
have-
sure.
Right.
climate control?
I just don't know what that percentage is, cause I know my neighbor had to throw out a lot of their books because they were getting,
Okay.
they're older.
If
and
you've
they
got
like theirs
books,
like
if you've
80.
got old books, you're gonna get mold on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We wipe down every book with vinegar and water. And, I mean, not every book, every book. And it took us probably 2 months
Mhm.
to do it.
So the lady that we hired for the library, is part of her, job description getting the library up and going and
Mhm.
promoting it?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
We have that if you'd like to see that
Mhm.
job description.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Okay, so we'll move that to May, continue the discussion. Looking at the RFPs, we have a number of things that, of course, in addition to the library, part of the reason we hired Dina is her contract experience. So we're gonna, she and I and Floyd will be working on the RFPs that we have down here. The pest control, and Floyd, can you fill us in? I tell you what, I'm gonna have you do this. Can you fill in the bids that we've got on on the pest control? Because you've been doing that one.
Well, we have two that I've
We're
received.
still holding on to? Okay.
We have the two that I've received that we met, when I say we, in this case, Tom and I met with both of the people who
Mhm.
did bids.
Okay.
And I do have those two with me, but we have not yet received the third.
Okay. Okay. So hopefully we can go ahead and do these RFPs and get these items presented and get some bids on them. Pest control, fencing, the demolition, and then the sidewalks. The sidewalk is specifically for the repair right there on Main Street for the new part of the park.
Right.
To finish that out. And then when we have them down here, I'll ask about some of the other places on the sidewalk that we've talked about before to try to get them, but primarily
This is definitely different than what?
the Main
was-
Street.
Okay,
Th-
okay.
yeah.
This is not what was asked to bring up to ADA.
No,
Separate.
correct, yes, this is
Okay.
a whole different, yeah, this is to complete the
Okay.
sidewalks down here for the park.
Okay.
And we're,
You're including that manhole, that big cement manhole cover across from the,
when
across from that?
when the people come out and answer the RFP, I may ask them to take a look at that as well and see if they do that.
Are we gonna be in any trouble with having a telephone pole in the middle of the sidewalk down?
Probably
here?
not. Probably not, because we've got poles in the sidewalk up here. So I think it will impact us for ADA compliance for that section, unless we can come an extra, maybe a little bit over with some smooth grade, rather than bumpy stuff, so they can get around it and then get back on the sidewalk. But I don't know what those numbers are.
It's not going around the pole, around the telephone.
The sidewalk is already around the telephone pole.
It was, I'm doing from memory, but you probably got about that much on one side and
Mhm.
that much on the other
Yes,
side.
yeah. And this plan would have them backfill the park side and bring it up to grade, and then do either bricks or press concrete along between the sidewalk and the roadway,
Yeah.
and whatever would be best.
But going back to my question, yeah,
Mhm.
that is part of what you're talking about.
Yes, I would like to get a quote for that, because it seems to be very specialized, those that can cut concrete and drop a Maginot line down to grade, basically. I want to get Dina working on those so that we can put them out. Getting bids, it still, still continues to be the biggest, still continues to be the biggest hurdle that we've got. Especially with Dina focusing on the library rather than some of the contracting stuff that I was hoping that she could get to. But while we are taking a pause and figuring out the direction for the library, going to try to put her on this and get it started. And the fencing here includes both the fencing over here and the living fence that's going to be down here. The evergreens that are down between the park and Ellen and Margaret. So it's two fences actually right there. Floyd, any additional comments on the RFPs and the process or anything?
Not really, not really. I mean,
Okay.
it is certainly important. It's, well, given the day-to-day that we're into also as well, we're just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty frustrating process. Isn't it?
Right.
Oh, gosh, it's incredibly frustrating.
Yep.
Hard to get bids for anything.
We got 2 guys that came out
Yes.
to do the pest control. I talked to 5.
Yeah.
And only 2 showed, that's part of
No, 3 of them told us don't want any part of it.
That's part of the stuff I'm running against too. I'm working on there's actually another one that I did not put on the agenda that has to do with security, enhancing security that we have here, cameras, et cetera. And I've had 2 of them to come out, and I've got others who ghost you, essentially. And so, that's half our battle too, is I would like to, I'd very much like to be by the book in the sense that we get 3 quotes and you look at which one is the best and roll with it. Instead, I can't even get some, even to the number 3 sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's an issue.
Where are they being posted? Like, cause I don't see anything for RFPs for,
So we
Well,
have, so when we do post them, it will be on our website. We'll probably put it up on our Facebook page. But to date, we have not fully posted an RFP. Any
Which is
project
what
that we do, we go out and get the bids. But because of the size of some of these, we felt that rather than just getting individual bids, we wanted to put it out. And in putting it out, the first version wasn't quite as clear as it could have been. So we're redrafting it and putting it back out to get a better picture and a better idea for council to make a
So that's
decision. That's really what it comes
Yeah,
down to.
each quote was basically all
Oh,
different.
yeah, it was here, and then over there.
Yeah, and it was like, okay,
And it
well,
was
is this
just like-
person gonna do this and
Mhm.
this person gonna do this?
Forgive this
Yes, sir.
question,
Sure.
because I'm still learning how this process works.
Yeah, no worries.
I could have you 4 pest control people here tomorrow morning at 8.
what's going on?
All right,
Love it.
okay.
Just friends and colleagues.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
allowed?
Oh, absolutely,
I don't
yeah,
know.
absolutely.
It doesn't have to just be somebody who
Well,
on the website.
so if any of us have a material conflict, we would recuse ourselves, but no,
Okay.
look, our friends and family and our network is how we get things
I wanted
done
to
in
make
this
sure
town.
that I just clues you.
Yes,
That
no,
makes sense.
absolutely.
I mean, honestly, that's what we do.
It's,
That's what we
yeah,
do.
it ain't what you know, it's who you know.
Networking.
Right.
Well, cause the guy that came to the cameras at the restaurant is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just, and he's like one of those people that you can call up right now if something was wrong and he'd walk you, I mean, like,
Mhm.
he is an individual owner, but, I mean, y'all have more small businesses in your backyard than you would even,
Yeah.
Mhm.
your mind could even
Yep,
fathom. I mean,
agreed.
Just every street is just, oh, this person
Mhm.
owns their own business, this person's own their own
Mhm.
business, so that's
Yeah.
what, I don't ever see, and I'm on the Facebook I'm always looking, I'm one of the top fans of Sharpsburg. So
Nah.
that's what I'm saying, if you just put it on there of like,
Yeah,
RFP going out for such and such, I mean, we could
Mhm.
share it, we could
Yeah.
screenshot it and send it to these
and,
people.
and that's the place that we want to get
That's where
to.
we're trying
Yeah,
to
that's
get
where we're trying to get to. It's just, it's growing pains. I mean, it's,
Is there any reluctance on people, this is just an opinion question, is there any reluctance on the part of vendors to deal with a small town? Is there any, and a second question, is there any reluctance on the part of small vendors to deal with us? Because I've heard a couple of things from people about us.
So, the length of time is what is unattractive. Like, if I give you a bid for something, now I can understand 30 days, because contractually, anybody most of the time gives us 30 days to do stuff, but
Mhm.
from a janitorial standpoint, from a, you lose interest. So in a
Mhm,
situation
sure.
where, you got a demolition, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and y'all been talking about it since January, I would be like, I don't know what those people are doing, I'd move on.
Or your books fill up and you don't have time to get.
Right.
rid of them.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I've wired a lot of churches in my day, and I related, I So basically you have 3,000 pieces, where I know we're a lot smaller here,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing, but I give you a bid, and basically, if I'm not the lowest bid, I'm probably not getting the job, that kind of thing. So yes, there is a deterrent. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a contractor.
Mhm.
There's a little bit of one.
Mhm.
But again, people like all of us reaching out to our friends and colleagues going, hey, you gotta follow the guidelines, here's the rules,
Mhm.
submit your bid, well, we can get warm faces in here,
Yeah.
you know. In other words, it's a friendly invite.
Mhm. Absolutely.
They're not just sitting around,
100%.
nobody's sitting around on the internet begging for bids right now,
Yeah.
everybody's just so daggone busy.
Because you
Mhm.
gotta respond to them too.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Yeah. And one of the things that I will compliment council and staff on is very rarely do we ever go lowest bid. We won't always pick the highest one, but we
Right.
You
we
guys do
rarely.
your due diligence, go with your most comfortable.
Yes, yeah. And we have no problem hitting it in the middle or picking the middle bid, and that has worked well for us.
Yeah.
It's just, it's making sure that we do it in an open and transparent process, that people can
Yeah.
trust that the money's being spent well.
Yeah.
And then also doing it within the workflow that we've got administratively. And they are doing a jam-up job, and Dina is gonna make this much easier if we can get her, to cracking on them. And that, hopefully, I don't know that we can have them, all of them prepared by May, but you think we can get some documents?
We'll get movement going. I don't know
Yeah.
how far we're gonna go with it by
Yeah.
May for sure, but we can certainly get movement going.
Okay, yeah.
So we need a couple more pest control
Mhm.
bids, we need how many more fencing bids?
Probably two.
Yeah.
I've got two that I can call and probably
Who
go
do I
with
have these folks contact?
Floyd.
Done,
Mhm.
it's easy enough,
Mhm.
be ready for your
Easy.
phone call.
And then the same thing with the demolition, and then the same thing with the sidewalks.
That pest
Um,
control now is for taking care of a specific problem, rat problem.
Okay.
It's not just
Oh,
spraying.
it's a
one
Yes,
time.
no, yes, you're right, I'm so sorry, yes, you're right, this
You
is
can get
pest.
anybody to come spray,
Mhm.
but nobody wants to go down there and chase
Get rid of the
rats.
rats. So this is the, yeah, I'm sorry, this is the pest control for the demolition.
Okay.
Let me be more specific on that, this is the pest control for demolition.
Let me ask you something else about the Beckham House. Did we decide that we're gonna have an inspection done for asbestos and? Okay,
Yes.
that's part of your,
Yeah, so you know what, so
Plumbing.
that probably needs to be on here too,
Asbestos.
doesn't it? And, lead paint. And we actually have a name, Floyd, we've gotten a bid for this one, hadn't we?
I don't recall that we have.
No, because he was the guy that said it was gonna be, maybe that was a pest control.
Tom read out pricing and I read out pricing, we both like.
I came across somebody that, the guy that,
Is it the guy that
did the
Harold?
inspection, yeah, that
The
Harold,
Harold- Okay, yeah, that's who I
and
think.
he was high. He was
For
like,
testing?
Remember, I read
yeah,
out,
like
the
$900.
asbestos.
I read out,
And, yes, and you gave us one.
That's right.
Floyd, we'll go back and,
I'll be
we'll go
glad
back
to
and
say
follow it
I'll
up.
be glad to say that I'm having a mind blank on that, because I don't recall if that's fair. That's
Yeah,
my
we'll
record.
figure it out.
Okay.
But you're right, we do need to add that to this
Yeah.
list.
Mhm.
So, so plus the asbestos.
Wouldn't be a bad idea on a lot of this stuff, just to put together a timeline on it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Put together a timeline, because, you could have to have certain things happen before other things happen,
Right,
before
yeah.
other things happen.
you know who we could probably ask too, Casey, remember he was talking about something about a building that had asbestos and they were talking about the hospital or something,
yeah, they had to have somebody come out and do all that before too.
yeah.
Yeah. So, he may have a remediation guy. And two, I think EPA has a list on their website, EPD has a list on their website.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Are there any, so I'll kind of open this door, maybe not for this round, but for the next one. What other RFPs do we need to do? What other medium-sized jobs would we need to internally bid out? Floor, yeah.
Yeah.
Do what now?
Say, if you thought about having the concrete coloring stuff done, don't y'all have that in the?
So, I don't know if we could do that after the fact, could we?
Well,
You
so
can.
there's probably glue and marks underneath here,
Right.
so it would be a,
Big job.
yeah.
You'd have to take 32nd of an inch of cement off this existing floor to get down to cement that can be stained, can be.
We need to do some research on
They'll-
what's
Do some
gonna
grinding
hold
work.
up.
They'll put vinyl right on top of this. They'll lay it right on top of this.
Do we want them to do that, though?
It's a standard,
Practice?
it's a standard practice. And it depends on what type you're going on top of.
So,
this.
It needs to be really durable.
Yeah, the guy
Because they dance on it.
Line dancing and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So it has to be
We do, they do.
really durable.
So it's gonna need to be this product, but the white lines that you guys see is from when someone came in here and tried to buff it. And these are the high points that they took down.
Well, this is old school linoleum.
Yes,
Oh,
This is
yeah.
vinyl, this is old.
it's
so
come a long way.
It's come a
Yeah.
long, yeah,
Yeah.
it's come a
Yeah.
long.
We got that
This was
stuff in
probably
our
done in
house.
'06 when they
I mean,
did
it's
the
it's
really
not cool
exterior.
these
Probably
days,
first
yeah.
came out.
Waterproof, I mean, it's.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, so if y'all know any flooring people, I know, I'm sure y'all do, just.
Not always the best, not always the cheapest, but they will show up.
See, and that's,
Now,
that's.
I know the best and the cheapest.
Well, and two, again, I'm not necessarily looking to lowball it. I do want quality as long as we're frugal with the taxpayers' money.
So the guy that I use for flooring, we've used him for 10 years, and so most time he knows when I send him to
Okay.
somebody not to play around. So that's the reason why I say
Good.
the cheapest, because
Okay.
they're giving them
Yeah.
the best price.
Okay, so floor, any,
Cleaning,
Mhm.
cleaning.
Enhanced cleaning, security cameras, I mean, there's a.
alright, so cleaning,
Well, so here's my next question is, if we start sending these folks to you, I know y'all have a lot going on already. Are you gonna be able to get in and show them what you want, or
Oh, yeah.
would it be a better direction for them to meet with somebody on council to get the quotes together? Like, or is it, do you know what I mean? I don't wanna commit y'all to.
Or is it better to send you the contact so you can reach out and
Mhm.
schedule the,
I have met with some of them.
And we've met
whatever
with,
you think,
what's that?
whatever you think.
We've met with them whenever we can, but the issue, like if you, one of the issues we deal with is some days like today are very unpredictable. We said, when you're limited to the stock we've got, whenever you say, let's make a plan, we walked in today and it was completely haywire from beginning to ending of the day. And that really is part of the reason we slow down, is because we've got calls, walk-ins, deadlines. I'm sitting on 3 deadlines as it is. And then I'm also hearing that we need to have an RFP system. My thinking is we get our system, I know it's a little bit delayed, but we get our system in play, have a template to run off of, and then we start getting our quotes off of it, is what I'm thinking. I think that's the way to go. I know in the past.
It is, but I don't wanna talk it to damn death before we get to doing it.
Well,
Daggone
don't get me
it.
wrong, I want this to
Sorry.
move because every bit
I
of this
know.
is adding up. At the end of the
Uh-huh.
day, I don't want somebody to come back otherwise and say we didn't do our
I know,
part.
yeah, no, you're right, you're absolutely
You
right,
know?
yes, sir.
So, that's sort of my, and I think if you had something you could say, fill in the blanks, send it out, fill in the blanks, and we get it back and can evaluate, in my mind, that's the way to do it, as opposed to somebody shows up, another person shows and do it
And
that way.
again, maybe Dina can help with that since she's so used to doing
Mhm.
contracts.
Yes.
I mean, years ago, I worked with them,
Mm-hmm.
it's been forever. But if she's got
Up
the
to speed on it.
background, that's what she did for a living, she can,
Mm-hmm.
top one of those off. Timeline, forms,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the idea of the RFP was to have a document that you send out, everybody say, can you give me a price for this?
Right.
Which is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Right.
You send it out, so that's what has to, I think, be built so
Yeah.
that you have it, so that you can send it out to the litany of folks and say, here's what we're looking for.
Now,
What are your
would this
3 quotes?
involve Brad also in the process?
So you can RFP somebody to death. It's like, how
I think it needs to be basic.
Yeah.
how crazy are you trying to make it be? Because if you go to me for a janitorial contract, mine is 2 pages. You get a 30-day notice, you know what I mean? Like, I hand over
Yeah.
2 pages when I hand over a contract to a new customer. And I've got customers from General Electric to Mavis Discount Tire, and they sign 2 pages. But if you go to Jana King and Jan Pro, they hand you over 60 pages.
No, we
Do
don't
you know
want to
what I
go
mean?
that far.
Well, no, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
we don't want that.
Not for us.
I would just be very careful
Yeah.
because, you can RFP some of these small businesses, and the second they look at it, they'll go, I don't wanna mess with this, because it's government, you know, what I mean? That's where you come back to, is that part of the reason why, which up until now, that's not been the reason, but how many RFPs do you turn down because you're like, I'm not sitting here reading 20 pages of,
Right.
a lot of details.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
It needs to be to the point where it gets our point across, this is what we're looking for, but it doesn't, to your point, paper people to death.
And said, as you said a
Yep.
minute ago on something else, set a deadline. All right, they're
Yeah, that
required
was-
by X date.
That was an
Mhm.
important thing. You had 30 days or
Tom, didn't you submit a short version of that thing of all that?
Mhm.
Of an RFP?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it was flawed because it used logic.
I didn't even.
He said it was flawed because it used logic.
Sounds like some restraining act or
Gotta get a hearing aid. It's the only place I need it. I can't
No, it
find
was
it
just,
else.
it was a point of departure. It was a point of departure.
Okay, so pending RFPs, we'll continue this discussion, add it to May. Is there anything under old business that anybody would like to discuss? We don't have anything in this spot because we wanted to leave it open. Is there anything that we have talked about previously that either at a council meeting or at another work session that you would like to bring up?
I also want to stir the pot. We need to get our act together on zoning and
Mm-hmm,
planning.
mm-hmm, yep.
We need to do that now.
Okay. How far along are you and Brad on the comparisons between Whitesburg and Turin and all the other Harrelson, those other places that you've got?
I've compared them and looked at them, they're all comparable.
Do,
Not really. They all have like very basic
It's all very basic.
residential,
mhm.
commercial.
Is that what we want?
I mean, I think that we probably need something a little less complicated.
Mhm. Than what we currently have?
Yeah.
Or less complicated than that other stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we need, residential, commercial,
Just R1,
highway commercial.
commercial, and highway
Yeah,
commercial?
we've
Yeah.
got 7 or 8, and the other towns have got anywhere from 3 to 6.
So we've got like residential 2 acre, we've got residential
R1 and R2.
4
Yeah.
acre, we've
Mhm.
got residential, and it's like, okay, we could just
Multifamily
do with residential,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and just,
So do y'all wanna, I know that this is something that you brought up and something that you said is on the list and is a priority. Do you wanna take it and keep running with it and then come back with a proposed
Well,
zoning
the-
plan and say, what do y'all think about this?
We're supposed to have a zoning committee, and it's either appointed or it's made up of the members of the board or the council.
Mm-hmm,
So, but yeah,
okay,
I'll do that.
okay.
I've got some
Mm-hmm,
files that I've put together for
right,
the trash cans, everything you can think of.
mm-hmm,
But I've got all the lots identified, and I know what the zoning is for every lot
mm-hmm,
as it stands now.
mm-hmm,
And we can very easily go down and just,
mm-hmm,
lay in a new layer on top of that.
right, based on top
And
of
then talk
that.
to Brad about how do we go about doing it. Once we decide what we want to do, I think the feeling was, then you would throw it out to get some
Mhm.
business people in,
Yeah,
and get some big landowners in,
mm-hmm, okay.
have your daddy come over, have
Mhm. Neil.
Neil and some of those folks
mhm,
come over.
Ted come over.
I don't
we
think,
can still use some of the old
Oh,
stuff.
sure, oh,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
I don't think
Because
that,
they did a lot of work on
I
that.
don't think there'd be any
Mhm.
surprises.
No, I don't think so either. Mm-mm, I don't think so
It's
either.
just that we've got some things sticking out that just don't make any sense.
Yeah,
And it's so hard to find, we have to go to 3 different places to find
Yeah.
an
Mhm.
answer, to
Right.
double check an answer.
Right.
So if we could consolidate
one.
to just look into one spot, that would make it a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah.
definitely. One
Now,
map,
I know
one-
that the Muni code, so Floyd, this is gonna be something we have to think about. When we go to do Muni code, they're gonna take all of our ordinances. If we're gonna take out 1/3 of our ordinances that are the development and site plan, site zoning stuff, that runs into the 200-300 pages, if we're not gonna keep that, that's not something that we need to save and use.
Right.
And that'll lower our cost with Muni, could lower our cost with Muni code.
Well, yes, also, but if you're going to go with community code and do codification, at what point would you want to codify that as well? If you don't want to just set it
We
off
do
and
all at
just,
the same time.
Yeah.
Right?
But if
so
we're,
it would be something that if you want to address it, you'd go ahead and address it.
yeah, I think we do, because then if we change that and
Mhm.
simplify it and get rid of
Mhm.
a couple hundred pages,
Yes.
that'd be,
Mhm.
Yeah, and of course, that would, I would think, lower the cost at that point.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would hope too.
and maybe, yeah, I mean, I haven't
Mhm.
looked at them in a while.
Yeah, and I'm not, I mean, anything is gonna be simpler than what we've got now.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not a negative for me for us to come up here and recycle this and put it, let's just go ahead and do it, let's just get started with it.
Yeah.
Because now, if we are gonna include community code, then that kind of gives us a little bit of a deadline to come up to.
We could do a little at a time.
Mm-hmm. right, anything else under old business?
Oh, yeah, so Brad is working on, the documents, but in the May agenda will be the first reading for the Downtown Development Authority that we're forming. We've got a list of names. We've got a couple more people that we're waiting to talk to, but, basically gonna be made up of residents, business owners, and, yeah, really excited about it. Yeah.
Do y'all have anything under old business that you would like to bring up, or anything that you'd like to ask about?
Did we already pass new business?
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna probably need to backtrack.
Need to backtrack?
So my husband and I just bought 225 Tarrentine from Carrington. Done deal, signed, ours.
Wow.
Where's the
He is
champagne?
supposed to have, he's supposed to have the, containers off by next Thursday.
Nice.
I don't know why they're not already off, but they're not.
So Safe Built is gonna be tagging them with a red letter notice that says X days, and then if not, there'll be a citation and we'll handle it in municipal court.
Okay, well, they're supposed to be gone by next Thursday.
And that's fine,
Already
yeah,
told me.
and I told Safe Built that the property had transitioned, and
Yes.
they were supposed to be gone, but they weren't, so let's go ahead and put it up there.
So we're hoping to put a dumpster over there at the end of next week to be able to start cleaning up some of the random piles of windows and just debris.
Stuff.
We don't really know what we're gonna do yet over there. We have been told, that we should bring down the current structure that's there because it was basically they were trying to go off the old foundation, and the old foundation is not as stable as it should be. They were gonna try to Band-Aid a couple of Band-Aid the foundation, and so we're just going to bring it down to the ground, get rid of what's there, and then we probably will leave the 3 fireplaces erected until we figure out what we're gonna do, because they are solid old fireplaces, and sometimes you can incorporate those into new build or into something else, and so I would hate to see those, and so I guess I wanted to make sure that it's okay to leave up fireplaces. Obviously, there will be no fires in them.
I think so.
Yeah,
And I can bring that up at next, if they need.
that would probably be more of a question for Safe Built to ask what their policy is. Obviously, I mean, I don't have any worry about it.
No.
I just wanna make sure that there's no legality somewhere.
Cut once.
I noticed that, thank you, thank you.
Are you gonna leave the steps?
I do wanna leave the steps.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because I'm hoping, my hope is one day there's a sidewalk to walk up those steps, but, I know that's not, that's in the future, but I am gonna leave the steps, cause I think that, I mean, the house itself was historic, but it's just not in a place anymore to build it back like it was. If we had if we had come in before, and even before, I think it had some structural issues too. I don't know what the answer would have been. Probably probably some of the same situation as the Beckham house. It's just not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not in a position, so yes, I do wanna keep the steps, cause I'm hoping.
When did John Bynum look at that house? Do you know?
I don't remember, it was a long time ago.
It's been a long time ago. This guy looked at it and said it was not salvageable then.
And that was, probably 16 or 17,
Still not salvageable.
If not earlier.
if not earlier, yeah.
When they
Cause y'all,
reframed it up.
The house around.
cause y'all were here a year or two before that, weren't you?
Yeah, this was before we showed
The
up.
one next to it on the corner.
I saw it, some of the pictures on Google Earth right now are from before they tore off the front of the porch. So I kinda got to see, but, again, we don't know what we're doing with the property yet.
Yeah.
We know that we're still trying to get, there's a fence down with the pool right there. There's a lot of other situations happening around the property that I think through some of the Safe Built stuff will get figured out. And I don't know if that's something that I can bring to Safe Built's attention.
No, please do,
Okay,
please
'cause
do.
I don't know what needs to happen. The pool is not on our property, it's literally right there, the line, but the fence is pushed over, and so somebody could technically
Public-
walk through there in
public
the dark
safety,
and fall over.
Health and safety,
That's not anything that,
yeah.
Is that pool on 66?
Mhm.
no, that's the house on the other side.
It's on the other side.
Yeah.
It's, Carla Ann Smith's. Is it Carla Ann Smith?
And Marissa.
Anne Marie Smith. And it is vacant now. But yes, we can add, yes, we do need to know that, and we can add it to the active enforcement.
Okay. The other piece of new business is I have an idea of, and I'm going to put it to paper and send it in an email to y'all, but, my husband and I are ready for our next project, and we would like for that project to be in downtown Sharpsburg. I know that everybody's waiting, what's gonna happen next. We need something that not only brings people, but also can sustain without big crowds, because, there's not a lot of foot traffic right now. So I have an idea of what could be brought to downtown. I hesitate to do it on our property on Tarrentine, one, because that's residential, that's not zone commercial. And then two, kind of like the pizza place, if I did something over on Tarrentine, even if I got it rezoned right now and was able to do something, what is that bringing to downtown Sharpsburg? That's still
Right.
taking, that's still bringing people to one spot and then not bringing them here. And so I wanted to kind of send out, but from calling and inquiring with a couple of landowners right here in this downtown area, there isn't anything available for sale. There's not a lot of movement on anybody wanting to sell anything. So I wanted to kind of send to council and to you just a rough draft of what I would like to do. And then maybe if y'all can start having some conversations and maybe find some opportunities that this would fit in a space here. I don't want to say too much because it's
No, it's,
it's,
look, no, that is the purpose of a work session, to ask questions and have time to discuss it while still meeting open records and sunshine laws. So no, this is, I don't think there's anything that you can't ask in a public forum, is it?
Not that I'm aware of.
So,
well, I'm gonna send to y'all,
Okay.
what that would be,
Sure.
and then if y'all look at it and say absolutely not interested, then we'll move on from there. But if you say, I think that this is something we could work on, then I would rely on your help to maybe figure out where could we do this.
Yeah.
You're being somewhat coy, is that? are you
I'm
being-
dying for
Staff.
curiosity.
Yeah.
All the cameras, I'm just.
Let's
Okay, so-
let me just, let's say somebody wanted to put in a facility that resembled a corn crib. Just pull something out of the air.
So I want to do, they're not technically silos, they're grain bins. Here we go, right? I'll put it out there. They're not silos because silos are those big tall things, but the majority of people call them silos because they understand them to be that. But I would like to bring some type of, something that would make people go, have you seen that over in Sharpsburg? That's, have you been over to see that they did this? But that would also not, there's no space on Main Street to put it, so that's what I'm saying, it has to be somewhere around here, but I basically want to do silo boutiques. I'd like for there to be space for retail. I do want to put, I would say 3 chairs, like hair salon chairs in here, because my brain keeps going back to what type of business brings their own clientele without having to rely on foot traffic, but could bring clientele to be other people's foot traffic. And so to me, if you find 3 hairdressers that are stable in their profession and they have their own, I've been going, how long have you been going to your hairdresser? You never change?
20-something years.
All right, so I'm saying,
Yeah.
you're following her wherever she's going.
Yeah.
And if you've got to walk through a boutique, another store of selling goods to get up to her,
Yep.
then you'll end up stuck in, just like in Cracker Barrel,
Yeah.
looking at stuff on the way in and on the way out.
Yeah.
And so,
so in talking to the other landowners, do you have any particular spots that you're thinking about trying to put this, or?
well, I want y'all to look at it first and just say, yeah, I want you to, and I've got some
The
inspiration pictures
concept
I
of
can
it,
send
yeah.
y'all.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be super formal at this point because it is
Sure.
only an idea.
Mhm.
And so if y'all want to continue the idea, then I have a friend that graduated from Savannah, SCAD, and she is ready and willing to do a mock-up of what that would look like.
Yeah.
To get a clearer picture, have you ever been to St. Simon's?
I
have these little beach bungalow type things.
Yeah.
It's like a little deck that goes up like maybe 3 steps,
Mhm.
and then they have like just a room,
Mhm.
and it's a boutique.
So those grain bins can be 20 feet or they can be 50 feet. You can make them as, they're a little bit custom in size. You can also go taller, you can go shorter. So there's a lot of, and the reason why I have been leaning towards the grain bin is because there's nothing like that in Coweta County.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
that would be a
I like that.
special,
Yeah.
that would be something
Something
special.
unique.
Yes, it
Mhm.
would bring
Nobody else
people,
has.
I think the curiosity would make folks crazy
Definitely.
to wanna come and see, what did they do?
Right.
And wanna go see this.
So one thing that I think that, I like the idea, I like the concept, I would like to do it. I hope that our property owners would be interested in talking with you. If none of them are, what are you thinking about? Is
Well, I'm always clicking around on the map of, who owns
Sharpsburg,
what.
right.
I can tell you everybody's names.
Right.
And so, that's
Do-
how I found the
would- so-
Cherokee house, but,
So it almost sounds like at some point, if you don't find any other options, would you
I'm
like?
hoping the town might have something that they want to.
Okay.
But aren't we gonna have an issue if you do something like that? Where's the sewer proposal at right now?
It is, so update on sewer. We did not get any congressionally directed spending for this past budget year. There's a chance that we could get it in the near future, but in the interim, we have put the project on Georgia's intended use plan. The same project that council talked about back in October, November. Put it out there, and that is the first step to getting a low-cost loan or a loan to grant funding. So it's still in the pending stage, but if we had a project like this that would be pulling sewer, and of course the plan had a spur to downtown, that would be an added incentive for us to do it.
Can there not be a pump
Basically.
station for small commercial type businesses to pump it over to the outflow?
Yes, there is, and that is what we would have to add, but I'll also point out, we have that very system right back there.
Right.
Now, it's not sized for great big stuff, but we have the start of a system already back there.
We could do it for a small project.
Yes, we
So-
could, something like,
A salon, it was a small project, couldn't be a restaurant.
No,
obviously,
I
but
mean,
a
I wouldn't
salon,
think a restaurant.
Coffee shop maybe?
I think I'm going
You think?
restaurants now.
if it was we couldn't do like a real big restaurant, but I think we could do like a pizza and pub.
Yeah.
Something that size, not that particular.
We've had somebody look at our capacity, haven't we?
Yes.
And with an extra pump,
Mhm.
we can accommodate a surprising,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could do that in the meantime.
And so when you get those projections and you see what you think it's gonna look like, let us know, because we can add that to the Dollar General need, the redevelopment need, and we can just add it to the potential impacts.
And these pumps on pump stations, they're okay with feminine products and things like that? And how
No,
they-
Oh, no.
we would
it's a
have
septic
to,
tank.
Yeah.
It's just a big old industrial
Yeah.
septic tank.
yeah, we would have to put in some kind of filtration system that would catch most of it before it ground it and then pumped it on up. Because that's what the grinder is. We have a pump over there and then a grinder out there. And we just have to clean the filter. And you gotta clean it every so often. But it's doable.
Okay.
Now,
But it's a jump start.
Yeah.
yes.
Well, this is just a.
Is this a
here's
project
door, here's
that the
door.
DDA could do?
Yeah.
In the meantime, there used to be 2 beauty shops down there
Mhm.
on sewer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, on septic.
On
tank.
septic, yes.
So you don't have to wait.
You gonna go there?
Well,
Yeah.
I will too.
so, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the things that I have always enjoyed about our council is that they are all incredibly pro-business.
Yeah.
I want to say, actually, all of them are either entrepreneurs or have been executives. So if you got something that's going to bring people and be a net positive for the community,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
We want to know about it.
yeah, we want to know about it.
Well, this is beginning stage, so that's why I said I want,
Okay.
if this is something
Sure.
y'all are interested in, then I'll start sending some, basically, and I don't know, what is the next, does it need to go, well, I guess no, I'll just get some inspiration
Mhm.
together and an
Yeah.
idea and concept, and then if y'all can help figure out a spot, then we can kind of start journeying on from there.
Yeah.
And then two, we have had a number of conversations over the years with various agencies, DCA, Department of Community Affairs, Economic Development, USRDA, Rural Development, USDA, Rural Development, and all these entities and programs that are interested in helping spur and reinvigorate Sharpsburg. So we can bring those to the table as well and maybe get some community funding. The facade grant that we talked about over the last couple of months would be very advantageous for something like that. Or use the facade grant to start the makeover and the facelift, and then build into maybe some smaller projects and then build up to something like that.
So the idea that I kind of had was two silos is what I was thinking, just with an upstairs and a downstairs for each of them. And I'll send some pictures, and then I was thinking of some type of roofing connecting the two that would have some seating underneath, whether it be for
Right.
just something to tie those together for there to be additional space for people to gather in downtown.
Mhm.
That was one of the things they recommended for this downtown area back when they were here years ago. Use that vacant space, like you said, for a little garden or a sitting space.
Some of the alleys between the buildings and have them as outdoor seating.
Yeah.
Gosh, you got that little lot that's got no value at all between, that your folks own, between the library and Tony's.
So this,
I
The
just
library
saw
park?
that space the other day.
No,
Do what
that-
now?
I just saw that
That is
space
space,
he's talking
that's,
about.
the space your folks own,
Mhm.
between the library and Tony's. Or, I'm sorry,
Tommy's,
Tommy's.
yeah, the library park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But not the courtyard, but the little weed treat area.
Yeah.
Is that too small for something like this?
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
too
yeah.
small.
Yeah.
that is a cool little spot though.
Yeah, it is.
That is a cool spot for something.
I just saw that the other day. I didn't even know it was there.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah. 'cause
You
I-
were at the library grand opening, weren't you?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But
you-
I saw the benches that Tony Brown
Yeah,
built,
uh-huh.
and I said, oh, well, weren't they supposed to be in this garden? They said, no, in that alleyway, and I was like, I never saw that before.
Mhm.
That's a cute space.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
We need to have something there.
At one time, that was one of the premier gardens
Yeah,
in the country.
yeah.
Seriously?
It's got, what's that plant that it has? Or the tree?
Oh,
There's
the crepe myrtle, that's humongous, like up on the
No.
roof
Mhm.
There was a tree in there, it was called the Benjamina, Altamaha Benjamina, I think, but it was named after Ben Franklin. It was a tree that
Really?
Bertram found in the Altamaha swamp 200 years ago, and the only place that it exists now is at a nursery in Boston, which is like a museum, and these people got a cutting from there.
Huh.
Interesting.
I
Is
think
it
I remember
still
us talking
alive out
about
there,
that.
or
Yeah,
is
it's
it
that
still alive?
magnolia looking tree right there in
It's
the
a-
corner, isn't it?
I thought it was, but I don't think it is.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because I got all over it, because
Uh-huh.
I thought that was
Yeah,
pretty
it's
cool, you know.
Good stuff,
But anyway, it was a heck of a garden, is my point.
Mm-hmm.
But it has those lights strung in there, and,
Yeah.
I mean,
You're welcome.
Yeah.
you could have like a little wine party there. We can rent that out on a meeting.
Yeah, and that's what we did when we had the library grand opening. That was where we had part of the reception, was in there, and we had the lights hung up, and it looked really cool at night.
An art display, an art sale or something. Cool.
Well, there are a lot of little things like that you could do, really are. And those are the kind of things we talked about early on, when we first started looking at the library to try to fix it up.
Do you have a Friends of the Library hidden somewhere? You? You're the friend.
It worked out that way.
No, there were several of us.
There were, yeah.
There
But
were
it,
several of us.
I'm the residual.
Okay.
Yeah, we went in to clean the
No, 'cause
library out,
People,
reorganized it.
Floyd and I have been to a few meetings, and all these towns have the Friends of this, and the Friends of that, and this, that, and the other, and it's like, why can't we get a group together?
Which
You know,
make
but
us
I-
a friend.
That's part of the 501(c)(3) that I would like for Dina to create to establish the Friends of the Library. Yeah.
Man, this work session.
No, 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 and this is the purpose of them, yeah, absolutely. Get it worked out. Okay, so was that the
That was
remainder
it,
of your
yes,
new
yes.
and
So
old
I'm gonna
business?
I'm gonna send some emails and just keep your ear to the ground and
Yeah,
let's
Okay,
figure out what we
yeah,
can make it
absolutely.
work.
We're all
sounds
ears.
great,
I
yeah.
think that we're open to any discussion and any project that furthers the town and improves it.
Yeah.
Great.
Is there anything we can do, any rock that can be overturned to try to do something with the sewer?
Yes, so I actually need to follow up with GFA. The last thing that we did was I filled out a form to put us on the intended use plan, and that just puts us on the list for priority funding. The way that it works is GFA has a board meeting every 3 months where they go over the different projects, and then they basically vote to fund them. What we would have to do is first, number one, council would come up with an agreement that we need to do this project here for sewer. And then we take that project, go to GFA and the county, because the county would help us design it. Get the county and GFA together, and put our heads together and figure, okay, we want to do this project on this timeline and it'll cost this much. We'll take that number, come back to council, make sure we're okay borrowing whatever that is. And then, once we approve it, Jay and them can do the work with the sewer authority. Then we'd go back to GFA and be on one of their upcoming board meetings. It's every 3 months, and then hopefully they will vote for us as part of their package.
Let me toss this out. Alex has talked to Clarence.
Mm-hmm,
He's over, and
mm-hmm,
they are, I've talked to Clarence myself, and they are open to doing something with us.
mm-hmm. Great.
Which basically, if you, then they're looking at Sonoya,
Mm-hmm,
and basically you'd end up cutting the cost in half. If we got together with them.
to get from Sonoy to Cheerin up to here would cut the cost in half?
It
We would be splitting it with
whatever
somebody,
cost,
basically.
if we do something with them,
Mm-hmm,
whatever the cost would be, say, to hook up the Sonoya down the highway,
mm-hmm,
it would cost us half, because they pay the other half of it. That's my point.
mm-hmm, okay,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, no, if that is something that Harold and his public works people want to pull together, and they have a plan, because when we talked about it a couple of years ago, that was on the table, but they weren't sure where their easements were. If they've got the easements from Fraser's out to Cheerin,
They've gotten it to the point where they're tossing out, they've tossed out a cost
okay,
to do it.
okay,
And there's a lift station involved in it, a high
Mhm.
pressure line,
mm-hmm,
and you've got two ways to do it. One is down 16, and one is coming up McIntosh Trail.
mm-hmm,
McIntosh Trail hinges on the use of that, that big Mormon tract in there,
mm-hmm,
1,200 acre
Yep.
tract.
Yep.
But I think what Turin has looked at is a Highway 16
Mhm.
option.
right, just coming
And
straight.
that's like
to
1.2 million, which is what it was gonna cost us to hook Dollar General to the 12 bars.
Mm-hmm,
And if that would be easy because Turin supplies our water,
Mhm.
and so it'd
Mhm.
kind of all be
mm-hmm,
rolled together, and I don't,
Yeah, you'd
I
have to.
think that route is gonna be more beneficial
Mhm.
than the county route, because the county route's gonna
Mhm.
come with a whole lot of stipulations.
I'm hoping that it won't. The decision as to what substance flows through the pipes is a political thing. If we get the pipes in the ground, it does it, we can get it to residential and commercial, whether we start off at commercial or first or not. That is a political decision that hopefully will change in the near future.
Oh, well, I just think that, I mean, you know,
But
as far as the county is concerned, if we grow,
Mhm.
they lose out. If we grow,
That has been the prevailing
Yeah.
thought, but I'm hoping that, like I said, I'm hoping that will start to change, and they will not be as opposed to us getting sewer over there.
I think we should explore.
Yeah, no,
some-
yeah, and we
Because
should,
they-
and we will,
They wanna
and we
have
will,
us as
yeah,
a customer,
absolutely.
and as far as the county, they
And-
are not.
And, you know, I would,
One of
you
the
know-
things you do when you're approaching anything from a scientific standpoint is you look at every option and you discard the ones that won't work. So let's just see if this joint deal with Turin
oh, yeah,
will
no,
work.
absolutely, sure,
Now,
yeah.
another thing too, and as if you hook up with Sonoy, they've got they are not gonna tell you you can't hook up residential.
Mhm.
So all of a sudden, you're not talking about 40 potential customers, you're talking about, 200,
Mm-hmm,
which again, the mathematics talks.
right.
And
Yeah, and, mm-hmm,
so it makes a big difference.
okay. So what has changed in the last couple of years? Because, we had this conversation with them back in 19, I guess. And then we had the other incident with the 11 lots. Do they have the capacity to do a sewer partnership with Sonoy and do it effectively?
Did you see the
What do you
plant
mean?
that they're about to have up?
No.
So Sonoy's got the new facility,
Mhm.
so they're
They've got a
gonna free up.
million-gallon facility.
Oh, no, I'm not worried about Sonoy. I'm talking about Cheer. Do they have the capacity to
I think,
operate?
Oh,
the
yeah.
sewer?
I think they see a need to get sewer just like we do.
Mhm, right.
Their concern is that they're gonna be a speed bump for Sonoy.
Mhm,
We're gonna be a speed bump for Noonan. And to get together, we can
It would
mhm,
benefit us both.
yeah,
benefit us both and cut the cost in half.
yeah.
And if you've hooked up with Sonoy, you don't have to worry about commercial only.
Mhm. Right. Yeah, I mean, it should all be an option. I will say that,
If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
if it doesn't work. Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, let's bring that to the table.
Well, they're open to a meeting.
Okay. All right.
And so I guess the ball's in our court. I haven't talked to Alex since he had his oral surgery,
Mhm.
but I'll get with him to see what he, let him fill in some of the cracks.
Mhm.
Because he's had a lot more talks. He's talked to
Okay.
Clarence a lot more than I have.
Okay.
And, okay. I think we ought to do it not do it on the QT. I mean, we're really just exploring this.
Mhm.
Right.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think we want to
Absolutely.
sit there and act like we're on the verge
Mhm.
of something, because we're
Mhm.
not.
No, I don't think so.
If you got the go-ahead to do it today, you wouldn't be able to flush the first toilet for 2 years.
Earlier conversations had the county ready to turn dirt within about 90 days, but that was
Well, yeah,
a
but
cycle or two ago, so.
Yeah, I know, but
I don't know.
there's a lot that has to be done besides just putting the line in.
Mm-hmm, right,
You've got an entire sewage collection system you're gonna have to put in.
sure.
That
Yeah.
line's.
Well, no,
running.
I would assume that turning the dirt would include the sewage collection and all that. But either way, I think we should move towards it, and we should explore it as well. Absolutely.
All right,
Questions? Other old business?
I'll get with Alex and pursue this.
Pursue that, okay. Do y'all want to combine this with the polling of council? I mean, I'll go ahead and ask you
Yeah,
if you got
yeah.
anything else that
No,
you
I'm
want
good.
to do.
I'm done.
Okay. Okay. All right, Mr. Administrator, do you have a report or anything that you want to give?
What hasn't been talked about?
See, and that's kind of where I am.
But I can think of one.
Mhm.
Won't take long. Code enforcement.
Yeah.
I spoke to,
Yay.
I've had emails with Safe Built today.
Yeah,
They have finished up with the back end of getting
Yeah.
all of their stuff ready.
nice.
And they're working on getting some dates available so we can have a sit-down
Nice.
meeting to fine tune some of this before we implement.
That's great.
So I would anticipate I would be a part of that, Brad would be a part of it,
Yeah.
council, one or two
Yeah.
could be a part of it. And whenever they come back with some dates, which I anticipate very soon, then we'll go ahead and set it up and
Awesome.
Is y'all sense that
that'll be our final
are
step.
they gonna be going after a lot of low-hanging fruit, or are they gonna go after some meat and potatoes type stuff?
They're probably gonna cite us
I think
for
there's a
think you're
lot
having
gonna-
tall grass.
I mean, are they gonna mess with us for having weeds? Or are they
Well,
gonna
I think
mess
that's
with
what
us
that
for having a
sit-down
leaky
meeting
roof?
is going to really start fine tuning a little bit on what
Gotta
exact
keep your
approach
grass
we want to
low.
go with it, but I would think you're gonna get their meat and potatoes all the way down to the little sweet peas and everything in between.
We gotta get our money's worth.
Yeah.
Is that up to the town to guide them how you want?
Well,
That's
Oh,
what-
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
my next point.
And that's what this meeting will be, is to sit down and go
And
with
we've
that.
got the addresses that people have complained about historically over the years, and
Oh, yeah.
that'll, they'll have plenty to do.
Are you allowed to just hand over the ordinances, and then are there ordinances for all that stuff?
Mhm.
Or will it be?
Sure.
Okay,
That's part of what they've been building the back end.
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
We're in the process of getting those cleaned up, too.
Yeah.
you hear the term codification, that's what they're talking about, getting fixed.
Codify.
Yeah, we've got a lot of issues. We do.
We do. We have, ordinance needs to really be,
Mm.
yeah. Also, today I had, for myself, I had 2 phone calls today where the people walked away. They wanted to rent the outside pavilion, but the game changer was the playground. Can we use the playground? The answer is
No.
not really.
No.
And that walked it away. So we had 2 that walked away over that.
That comes up weekly.
It does, it
So,
is coming
so
up.
people want to rent that, but they want,
No, they
The
want to
park.
have access to it.
They want
the park.
access. One of them today was an 11-year-old girl's birthday party.
okay,
But they were gonna have little children over to play on the playground, and when they heard the playground's not there, not really functional, that was a game changer, and they
so
walked.
that tells me that the Beckham lot might be off the table for the park,
Well,
because it's so far.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
it is far.
Yeah, that might be possible.
You'd have to jump 2 fences to get to
Yeah.
your kids if you needed to.
Yeah.
I saw that one out.
Yeah, no, yeah, and that's one thing that that's one thing that I've looked at.
Angie and I wrapped with caution tape
Mhm.
last week because of the Team Hungry event here this weekend.
Yeah,
But it was relatively open, you
Okay.
know, so a kid could crawl. So we wrapped it with the caution tape and
Yeah.
and also we put caution tape through the fence where the locks, we need locks, we need big locks
yeah.
Okay,
for those gates.
okay.
Because all we need is a kid to go in there and drown, God forbid.
Okay.
So we
Yep,
put caution
okay.
tape through those holes to keep it, you know,
I'll be talking to Michael Fouts here this week, and I'll see if I can get Public Works back out here. The playground cleanup and just the general material cleanup is, as part of the RFPs and other work that needs to be done in the punch list from the park, it's still pending. But I'll bring that back up again and see if we can get them out here to help.
Are we gonna have to move that playground to the back left corner? No?
I don't think so. I think the current play structure that we've got, we can leave up, but then build up and build new playground equipment, some of the new stuff.
yeah, I crawled up into the house, it's busted up.
Is it?
Yeah, can
No,
we
it's
just
busted up
get
bad.
new?
Yeah.
I would rather just do something new.
Yeah, and certainly not I do want
Yeah.
to do something new as well.
Yeah,
But I hate to take it down and not have anything out there until we do get the new up.
well, we can just move fast on the new.
I mean,
Playground committee.
I'd love to do that, but
I mean,
You
I
know?
think the best spot is like the back. And
that's,
so, you know where it
that's-
gets thin, so you know
Yeah.
how,
Mhm.
yeah, you've got like you've got a piece of ground, and then it gets thin, and then
Oh.
you've got where.
yeah, we're gonna have to bring the grade up.
Yeah, you have
We're
to
gonna have
bring
to
the
get-
grade up, but it would be cool to like do 2 play structures and like connect them by like a
Mhm.
bridge or something.
From one side to the
Yeah.
other. That'd be cool. But we're just gonna have to get someone to help us design, a playground.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Well, they're out there.
mhm.
That's some options. And he can do the grading.
Well, and of course, anybody, and I'll put this out here, anybody that wants to help us with this, please reach out to Floyd and say, I can help with the playground. I'm more than happy to do any of this, and I love doing all these ideas. But part of what Julie and Floyd have shared with me, and part of what they said tonight, is we in meetings tend to decide all this stuff, and then they have to do all that stuff in addition to the day-to-day work. So if we can pull together folks that can help them and us do this, that'd be wonderful.
So you'd be okay with us referring the playground committee?
Mm-hmm.
Right by my house, Blue, look, the one that Chick-fil-A executive built in the backyard right beside it. That thing rivals McDonald's playground.
So, and that was one thing that I have that has slowed me down just a little bit, is the pure sticker shock of playgrounds. We're looking to spend $50,000 to $100,000 on a playground.
What's good, it's used on this facility.
Yeah.
Where's the
Right,
income
yeah.
behind it?
Yeah. True. And as long as council and everybody's okay with that, those dollar amounts, I'm okay with it, but.
Listen, everybody drives to Peachtree City and Sonoy for their kids to play.
True.
That little
Yeah.
It is
park over there.
missed,
Yeah.
it is missed, as a feature of the town, because
Yeah.
a lot of mothers would come
I
out here.
know.
Yeah. And if we
After
did a
school with
surface
their
that was
kids.
not mulch, if we did a surface that was like a turf or something like
Yeah,
that,
Yep,
with some
Rubberized.
shade, I'm telling you, it will be the most popular
Mhm.
park in town.
yeah, no, I agree, yeah.
It'd be the only park in town.
Very true.
We could always use the
Until-
grassy knoll out there for the playground right smack in the middle.
Well, and y'all said last
Did
meeting
something
too
happen on
that
the
there
grassy
was,
knoll?
that could
Okay.
move
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
fundraise.
Yeah.
So
Which
I
one
Yep.
think
was it?
if
And we could do our own fundraising too, like if we pick
Sure.
out a playground and we design it, we're like, this is how much we need, let's raise half
Yeah.
of it, I mean,
Mm-hmm,
we could do that.
Friends of the
We could raise
Sharpsburg
50
Playground.
grand.
Okay, get
Mhm.
your empty jar out and we'll start collecting bills.
start collecting change. Yep.
I mean,
I'm looking for funds to
Okay.
help me buy some new equipment for my kids.
or help.
Hey, you can come sing,
There you go.
Yeah, you do a benefit concert for
Yeah.
us.
Start selling
we'll
my
sell
albums.
tickets.
Yeah, we'll sell
Sell
tickets.
your albums, some of my albums, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
This would make a grand old hole, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
yeah, it would. Anything else,
That's it.
Floyd, that you need to add? For mayor's updates, I've only got a couple because we've talked about several other things. One of the things that the town has, and we've had for, this is the second year now, is we have a membership with the Georgia Downtown Association. Abigail came out here and spoke to council a couple months ago. They have offered, a consultation basically for us. And now that we've kind of got all this going on, I'm gonna set it up, but I will also offer out to folks that are interested in it. They have trainings and they have resources and they have things that we can attend and study and do that will help us form the DDA and help us revitalize our downtown. It's the Georgia Downtown Association, and I will continue to push those things out. If it's something that you guys want to do,
Definitely.
I'd love to have you, love to have y'all do it.
That's not who the girl was we heard speaking, it's the way that.
Well, I don't know.
But Abigail was here a couple months ago for the
Mhm.
meeting.
Yeah, I remember her.
Another thing that has come up is Georgia Power has an easement clearing program that clears off trees within so many feet of the easement. Up here on the Triangle property,
Oh, boy.
we dropped a tree that knocked down a line.
Mhm.
Recently, on the other side, last year, we dropped a tree.
Mhm.
And then year before that, David Mullins dropped a tree,
Mhm.
all on the lines up in that same
Boy, do
area.
I remember that.
You remember that? That got your washing machine,
Yeah, that got the side of my house.
got the side of your house. Georgia Power has a program where they will come and clear out trees within 20 feet of the easement. I'm gonna
Okay.
try to get more details on that. I don't know what our liability is having those tall trees and just, well, I don't know what else we can do, because obviously we don't want to take down all the trees on the Triangle property. We don't want to do that. But if we keep having trees fall on power lines, I don't know how long.
I mean, there's a
That's-
couple leaning ones. We can definitely get the
Mhm.
leaning ones, because those
Mhm.
are just,
But see, I don't know,
Okay.
I don't know if Georgia Power does just the leanings. I think they go in and they go 20 feet off of the right of way and clear it. And I don't know if we want to do that. But we're gonna have to think about those, the tall trees on town property. Plus, we have another pine tree back there that's already dead, that died, I guess, over the winter. So we're gonna have to do something about that one. Because if that one falls on the railroad, it may be big enough to actually shift the rails. I mean, that pine tree's this big around, and at least 50 feet tall. That's a big old SOB. You get a lot of lumber out of that. So, we got some trees that we're gonna need to be thinking about. I'll get more information on the Georgia Power easement program and just bring it to you and see what you think.
okay.
All right, any questions from staff? Any other questions, comments from council? Any other questions, comments from the public? All right, so that being said, nothing else before us, we will go ahead and adjourn.